Can y'all hear me now? We good? How's that sound? All right, we're back. Yeah, so I think I want to take these streams and just every week after week continuously improve them, kind of figure out the process, the flow. And I think most of all, like, I want the community to be a part of sort of like where we take this thing. I might kind of be sort of the captain of the ship, but where we take the ship, I think that's up to all of us. And so we kind of got the Discord going today. Want to get a bunch of chatter going in there. The link is in the description. Make sure you check that out. I'm going to do all of my sort of planning for future streams in there. And so if there are like, certain rappers that you want to have, run through the simulation, feel free to speak up and we can get a nice variety going in here. I think sort of like at a high level, like what we want to do is at the beginning of every month, we're going to have a stream that's sort of like a monthly recap of artists that dropped the previous month. And so today's stream is going to be that. I'm calling this studio series stream. And we'll get into a little bit more about how that works in a little bit. But that monthly recap will be kind of like how we start off each month. Following that up, we'll have a theme stream similar to the one we had last week. I think Drake and Kendrick and Future sort of like handed us a gem and some some good drama. Turn the volume down. Okay, let me see. The mic level's too high. How's that? Test, 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 test. The music. All right, I think that should be better. But yeah, so monthly recap, a theme stream. I want to do a People's Choice stream where kind of everybody in the Discord can throw names in a hat who we want to have run through the simulation. And then finally, maybe like a some sort of like guest stream or like a hotline stream once we have a lot more people running through here. So I might have someone come through and, you know, we'll do the stream together. I think that'll just provide, you know, some more variety to kind of like what we're doing. All right. So let's get into today's stream. So this is going to be one of our monthly recaps. Every rapper in the schedule is somebody that dropped a project in March. And so let's just get this guy started and I'll explain through it more. So we have all the rappers broken up into 4 different groups. There's Studio A, Studio B, Studio C, and Studio D. If you've been in the Discord, you kind of already seen these channels, and maybe you have an idea of what they are, but I'll talk through it. So Studio A is red. Let's we'll get Meek Mill on the board, and you'll be able to see the leaderboard here. Studio A is sort of your like mainstream sound. So Meek Mill, Future, Drake would fall in this category. I have Schoolboy Q here. These are, it doesn't have to necessarily be like an extremely popular rapper, but I think they kind of fit the mold. Like a Travis Scott would fit in well here. A Don Toliver type sound. That's Studio A. Okay, 86. We'll keep going. $112. We'll get Meek on the board. So Studio A is on the board. Studio A is your mainstream sound. Studio B is going to be your lyricists, your MCs, your, you know, Kendrick and J. Cole would fall in this category. You know, you could think of like Earl Sweatshirt, anybody from Griselda, people that you're going to get bars from. Like anybody in Dreamville probably falls in Studio B. Today we have Tierra Whack, Rock Marciano, Boldy James will be up next in this category. Studio C, this is like for the streets. 21 Savage, even though he's a huge rapper, probably falls in this category. NBA Youngboy, Young Nudie would probably be a Studio C rapper. You know, kind of your like street guys all are in this category. And then Studio D is sort of your alternative hip hop, you know, your Playboy Cardis, anyone sort of in that alternative lane. We got a couple of like, you know, Thousand Man Fonny here. Uno would be in this category. We'll talk through this one some more. And these studios are nuanced, right? Like people don't necessarily have to fit in one or the other, but I think this kind of gives us a good sort of like different corner of hip hop. And so all of these studios are competing against each other today. We have 16 rappers. St. John would probably be, I would probably throw him in Studio A. He's got kind of that like, you know, mainstream trap / singing sound. I think he was a Studio A rapper. But yeah, so today we'll be talking about the projects that all these artists release, and we'll just be running through it. Just to recap for anyone that hasn't seen the stream before on how this works. We have a list of rappers on the right. We go one by one. They each get a chance to release a project in this center area, the project builder. If they release a project, then they end up on the leaderboard, the charts over here. And because this is team-based, their team will get points depending on how they place. So I added the scoring to the charts to make it a little bit more clear, but top of the charts, 15 points for the team. Second through fifth place, 5 points. 6 through 10, 3 points. How does the project builder work? Let me just give a quick overview of that. So in order to release a project, you first have to have a project card, this top row here. These project cards have different components to them that represent, you know, different parts of a project. Blue is for beats, purple is for hooks, red is for verses. The project builder like kind of automatically will create a project for you if there's one on the board. And so these components here, they correspond to this bottom row, these studio cards. You got your beat cards, your hook cards, and then the value of your project is the sum of those cards. And so if you can form one, then it'll show a number down here at the release thing. And then we can pick whether or not we release the project. This middle row here, these are kind of like bonus cards. You know, throughout the stream, I might explain how these work, but they essentially enhance the project that you're building. So in this case, you know, these two albums over here needed a verse. We didn't have a verse on the board. This is boost here, but that doesn't apply to, you have to have a verse in order to use this boost. So in this case, this mixtape with a beat and a hook plus 2 boosts, because this hook here got Meek 112. And so we released that, put it on the board. 112 is like a pretty decent score. I think tonight we'll probably see, I'd expect like, you know, 150 will probably be top 3. I think the highest we've seen so far is 190. So Meek, let's talk about Meek a little bit. He dropped a EP called Heathenism, which was like kind of ironic because it dropped like right when all of the Diddy stuff started to come out. And the first track on the project was called Came From the Bottom. Which I thought was pretty humorous. I don't know. I feel like Meek, he's constantly chasing. He got 112 with that Diddy boost. I feel like this man is like constantly chasing dreams and nightmares. Like every project he drops, there's always like, even track 1 of this project, it's like a bunch of like car talk and, you know, I started from nothing. And then there's a beat change up in the middle of the track. And then like the tempo ups. Like he does this every track. It doesn't hit the same. I don't know. He's got to figure out how to like reinvent himself or something because shit is not hitting. There is a future track on this project that was pretty solid. I think the last track on the album. All right, let's keep this train going. Boldy James, Studio B. He's part of Griselda. If you're familiar with like Benny the Butcher, West Side Gun, all those guys. He dropped a album in March, called Penalty of Leadership. And I think the crazy thing about his sort of this project was the beginning of last year, he got into like a really serious car accident and was like, had neck surgery, left the hospital and was like paralyzed from the neck down, and recorded most of this album literally in a wheelchair and a neck brace. But it's a pretty solid track. If you like this style of hip hop, I would suggest checking it out. So he's got 3 spins, 3 sessions. Let's see if we can get Studio B on the board. This guy is a 2-digit spin. $84 is not getting it done. That looks good. 102. What do y'all think? Just send it. I think we do one more. Yikes. Nothing for Studio B. All right, next up, Glock 40 Spaz. Atlanta rapper, probably a little less known than most of the other people on this list. If you want just like some super violent, like street hip hop, this is the guy that you want. Kind of like a cult internet rapper. His project that he dropped was what was that name? It's called After Took the Biggest Risk. And so it was actually a deluxe of a project that he dropped the end of last year. He actually dropped that album while he was in jail. And so there's this crazy video online of like his release, like listening party, and they're FaceTiming him. I think he's locked up on like armed robbery charges, some crazy shit. 122 out the gate is pretty solid. I think Studio C's got to get this on the board. But yeah, I actually I put together a little Spotify playlist of a bunch of tracks. It's not really a playlist, it's more like a sampler. Music from all these different artists. It's in the description of the video. So if you want to go back and check out any of these artists, peep that and you'll kind of get a sort of a sampler of what everybody's music is like. BK the Rule is Studio D, another Atlanta artist. If you like 070 Shake, you should check her out. She kind of like sounds like Shake when she sings, but she also raps a lot, and I think her like flow is sort of a bit of an acquired taste. But I liked her most recent project. She dropped the album Level 5 Part 2. There's a track on there called Racks Up that I really like. But yeah, 070 Shake vibes. I mean, 131, let's get it on the board. Studio D takes the lead. All right, Future needs no introduction. I feel like there's going to be a lot of Drake talk tonight. 9 sessions. We Still Don't Trust You drops tonight. What are y'all expecting? Who are you expecting to be on it? You spin until 200 for Future. Well, we'll see what he does. I'll be interested to see if there are any more direct shots taken at Drake. It's an R&B album. Drake better clap back with a full album. Does Metro even do R&B beats? Yo, this is not looking too hot. I saw Joe Budden was talking about how Drake might drop tonight. I would put money that we don't hear anything from Drake tomorrow. Like he isn't gonna want to share the space with another Future Metro album drop. Like when we hear from Drake, it's gonna be when no one else is dropping. Yo, what is going on? Future is not doing anything. I feel like Joe Budden is on OVO payroll. Like he when Drake needs like more buzz, he'll ring Joe and be like, I don't care if you hate on me or do whatever, just like talk about me. And Joe always comes out the woodwork. We're on the final session, the final Future session. He hasn't hit over 100 yet. Like, that's pathetic. All right, next up, Shabazz Palaces. The group's run by Ishmael Butler, who is like a super OG. He was part of Diggable Planets like back in the day. He really should not even be in Studio B. He should be in Studio D. This is like super experimental, like Afrofuturism, hip hop, if you could even call it that. Shabazz Palaces dropped an album in I think 2018 called Black Up, one of my favorite hip hop albums of all time. But definitely some like eccentric shit. This current album that he dropped was okay. I'm gonna boost him 1 just off the strength of, well, let's do him 2. He's an OG for real. All right. Studio B has to get on the board at least. He should take the 46. Do I just release this 83? Get on the board? Bro, smoke the toad. I would not be surprised. We're just gonna get on the board. Tony Snow. This shouldn't say unknown. He's independent. I don't like how chat has no control of these scores. If y'all want me to boost some of these artists or nerf them, just let me know. If I was an Atlanta rapper and I'd need, like, Tony Snow would be the rapper that I would want a feature from. Y'all should check out his recent project. Out the Woods is what it was called. Don't Slip's probably my favorite track on there. All right, look. There we go. Kenny Mason, this is his second time running through the studio. I think he was in the first stream. I think we talked about his project before, 9, which I don't even know if it's a, I'm gonna boost him just cause. I don't know if it's an EP or like a full album. It's kind of felt just like kind of a mix of random loosies, but he did his thing on it. Bars plus a lot of like alternative rock stuff. Spins have to be weighted to A and C, right? Feels like B and D need boost love. There's no waiting on him. Kenny Mason overhyped. You crazy, man. He always has the best features too. On this recent one, Baby Drill, V's, Toro. I mean, I think he's still finding his like sound, but okay, let's see. Studio D, they got 1 on the board. A 94. This is not going to be great, but they're only 16 rappers. Let's go. Let's just send it. Damn. All right. So originally I had Tyla as the mystery guest for Studio A. I know she's not a rapper, sort of rap adjacent, I guess. Like her recent album has a Gunna feature on it, which I think is interesting to talk about. But earlier today, I was just like looking through my like songs, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot Cowboy Carter drops in March, and Spaghetti by itself like affords Beyonce to be included in the recap stream, because she spit some bars on that track. And I know that like I was looking through the production credits, so on the writing credits, I think you had Jay-Z and you had The Dream. So, you know, did Beyonce actually write those lyrics? I don't know. But the performance was still amazing. Beyonce's too busy in Nashville to be in the studio. I'm gonna nerf her a little bit just because this album is not a rap album. But I guess she didn't need it. If you like look at the numbers, I mean, Feature didn't perform well, but I mean, Studio A definitely ends up with more sessions than the others because these are like bigger artists. So we'll see over time like how that kind of plays out if Studio A ends up sort of dominating these type of streams. Okay, Rock Marciano needs way more than one. All these like Griselda dudes. I'm not gonna say they are using his same formula, but like he's kind of like the originator of this type of sound. Like New York rap was kind of headed in one direction, and then when he came on the scene in sort of the early 2000s, he kind of gave that sort of like claustrophobic, kind of like dusty sounding like bars. He just dropped a project, Marciology. Pretty solid. I mean, he does his thing on it. He's got a Larry June track that hits. There's another track on there called Went Diamond that's really good. Let's see if he can actually get something on the board for Studio B. There we go. There we go. Look at that. First time in the simulation. Top of the charts. See, Studio B has one left. Studio A's got one left. Chief Keef out the gate dropped a mixtape with Mike Will Made It called Dirty Nachos. Yeah, Dirty Nachos. Bangers on there. This dude is like super consistent. Like I feel like even though he's not in the hood anymore, like still drops that heat. His last project, I think it came out 3 or 4 years ago. For Nem, solid project as well. Mike Will, like he brought some heat with the beats, and they sound like Chief Keef beats. So I would definitely check this out. There's a track on there called Beware of Dogs. That's probably my favorite joint. It's on the Spotify playlist if you want to check that out. Yes, the Sexy Red feature on there was good. Griselda represents all the hood uncles that overcame the crack era. All right, I mean, we don't need to even continue. Let's get them on top of the charts. I mean, I think they're going to run away with it. Thousand Banfani, kind of like a cult internet type rapper. Sort of like came on the scene with Uno the Activist. His most recent project was not that great. I don't know if any of y'all heard it. And the mixing even sounded bad on some of them joints. But I wanted to include him on here just because he's, I feel like he's kind of well known in sort of that alternative space. And he has a lot of tracks that I really like, just like over his catalog, but I don't know if this recent project was really all that. I'm gonna boost him just to give Studio D more of a chance here. All right, 107 will get, it's not gonna break top 5. Oh, let's go. Not gonna do it. Yeah, and it bumped Kenny Mason. Schoolboy Q. Blue Lips. My favorite project probably of March. Production was great. It's crazy. It's been 5 years since Crash Talk. I feel like with a lot of these artists, it's been like 4 or 5, 6 years since their last project. I mean, I'm sure the pandemic kind of had something to do with that. Dang, 132. But I was glad to see him back on the track, and I feel like he's kind of the like face of TDE now, right? I mean, I guess SZA would sort of be. SZA's the biggest name coming out of that camp, but with Kendrick being gone on the rap side of things, I mean, you got what? Schoolboy, J-Rock, Reason. I mean, Schoolboy's definitely like the biggest name out of all of them. This album's the best drop in 2024 so far. I would. Let's see, what came out in February? I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at saying that. So did we release this? This adds 5. You're gonna bump Beyonce out. But you're also gonna knock out Shabazz Palaces, which doesn't really help cut into this guy. I mean, if we're playing to win, you got to be chasing this 142. He's got 6. We play to win. I think this is Schoolboy Q's first appearance in the simulation. 35, 26. Needed that hook. Come on, Q. $35. Didn't get it. Could have used some more on this boost. Tierra Whack. This dropped her like follow up to Whack World, which came out like 4 or 5 years ago. Very eccentric, as you can tell, rapper. Project was alright. Like she's talented, that's for sure. And I'm not gonna run back to it. Her like debut project was a lot more interesting. Man, Studio B just pitiful. $107. I mean, this might be a victory lap here. And look at this. So is his name Young Boy, or is it NBA Young Boy, or is it Young Boy Never Broke Again? I never know like what his actual name is. All I know is that he's like out in a mountain in Utah somewhere. The project that he just released was like a compilation album. I think a bunch of people on his label. I mean, I think we released it. Just lock that up. Any of y'all listen to Young Boy? All right. Studio D's Final Hope. Germ. He's signed to Suicide Boys. Their label. Reminds me of like 3-6 Mafia. Kind of. That sort of sound. Let's see what he can do. Only 3 sessions. Studio D in last place. I mean, 106 would get them on the board, but we're not playing for third place. $82. The Streets ran away with it. Studio C. Tony Snow, I feel like he I don't even know if he's in the right category. Chief Keef, number 1 at 142. But yeah, that about does it. Let me know in the Discord what y'all think about this format. Like, do I need to add more rappers? We came in at 47. Probably like it took 45 minutes to get through 16 rappers. I could probably bump it up to 5 each. Give us a solid 20. I need to find a good balance between like discussing the music and also like the game itself. And then I feel like the latency was a little more delayed on this stream than before. I thought I set it to ultra low, but I felt like there was a lot more of a delay. Just 5 sounds good. One thing I want to do over the streams is like have sort of like a, maybe when I hover over an artist, it'll show you like their stats from all of the sessions that they've done through the simulation. So we'll have sort of like a running like leaderboard of all time, like what rappers and how they kind of performed in the simulation. That's kind of in the works. Like right now, pretty much everyone in this list, this was their first time running through it. I mean, I think we had Future, Kenny Mason were repeats. But over time, we should start to have people cycle through more. Next week, the People's Choice stream, where we can kind of pick whoever we want. I think there'll be a lot of familiar faces from some of the earlier streams as well. But yeah, hit subscribe, hop in the Discord, leave some feedback, and I'll see you guys next week. Appreciate it.